Got a jam-packed show for you guys this week. It's our 1-year anniversary here behind Enemy Lines. Lots of interviews, lots of views. Here we go.
Get ready to fight from within. You're about to go behind Enemy Lines on We Are America Radio. War.
Roger, 3-2. Goliath copies all. Go ahead. Target is surrounded by multiple firms entering what appears to be a residential area. Requesting permission to engage.
Live from the People's Republic of New York City. You're now going behind Enemy Lines with Gene Baradelli and Russ Gallo.
And you are now behind Enemy Lines. Hey there, how you doing, everybody? Gene Baradelli here, flying solo this week. But that's okay, because we got a lot of great interviews that we're going to be playing for you. Some stuff we did last week, some stuff we did this week. Just to set up the show for everybody so you know what's coming on. We got Dan Gaynor, the Vice President of Business and Culture for Media Research Center and Newsbusters. We're going to be talking about some mainstream media and Hollywood hypocrisy when it comes to the shooting that occurred in Roseburg, Oregon. Some serious business there. Of course, you guys know that, listen to the show a lot. Hypocrisy in the media, nothing new to us. But we'll be examining it and quantifying it a little bit, trying to give you guys a full picture of what the media is not showing you when it comes to this shooting. Then we're going to be playing some interviews that we did from the Value Voters Summit that we couldn't play last week. Two of my favorites from the summit, believe it or not, beyond the Benhams and Alveda King. You ever notice I say every interview is my favorite? And it's really because I learned something with every interview, and I hope you guys too, when we talk to Alex Molesky, a small business owner who is taking on the big task of running against John McCain for Arizona Senate. And then we'll be talking to, and this is for all you wonks out there that are like me, that like to talk a little policy, one of the legislative advisors for Faith and Freedom Coalition, Patrick Pertil, and we'll be talking to him about defunding Planned Parenthood and things of that nature. But let's get right into it, shall we? Everybody, of course, should know by now what happened in Oregon, the UCC shooting on campus. Of course, before we begin, always prayers, thoughts, well wishes going out to those affected in that area, whether you are a student, a family member, a friend, citizen of Roseburg, a citizen of Oregon, a citizen of the nation. Of course, thoughts and prayers on the tragedy, and we are so sorry for everyone's loss. The loss of life in any type of incident, whether it's one or a million, always tragic, always sorrowful moments. And when you think about what happened, you think about the politicizing of it, it gets you even angrier. And that's what I believe many people are doing when it comes to this shooting. Both sides, by the way. I'm not going to just limit my rant to one side. But let me just say this. When I hear about President Obama wanting to go to Oregon, and the citizenry there saying, no, please don't come here. We don't want you here. And he's still insisting, and speeches are still coming out about gun control and Second Amendment rights and all this stuff. I'm sorry. Time and place, people. Yes, we're all political animals, especially those of you listening here on We Are America Radio, the number one political talk station on Live 365 and the fastest growing talk network on the internet. Yes, we all want to be political animals. We all want to dissect issues, talk about things in the objective and the subjective and all this stuff. I get it. But please remember the human element when we're talking about this. I think enough said on that point. But when we talk about the human element, to me, whenever I think about gun control, gun rights, Second Amendment, all this stuff, it hits home for me a little bit. As a survivor of Hurricane Sandy, Superstorm Sandy, here in the People's Republic of New York City, I remember that night vividly in one sense more than any other. And that is when the streets were flooded, nobody was around, no emergency services around. It was me and my family in the dark. Government couldn't get to me. Government couldn't help me. Government couldn't do anything until the storm was over, and then they could come in and do what they could. I mean, there were people getting taken out of their houses in rowboats, folks. What I wouldn't give to have had some weapon in the house and to have been trained to use it at that time. Heaven forbid someone tried to break into my house for safety reasons or tried to do something to my family or whatever the case may have you. It was a lawless night, really. Fires breaking out, transformers blowing up. Not to liken that to a gun-free zone. New York City basically is a gun-free zone in and of itself. But when you think about college campuses, and you think about schools and these so-called gun-free zones, all they really are creating target-rich environments. Because those people who could give a damn about what a gun-free zone is, or what a background check is, or what a training course is, or what a psychological evaluation is, those people couldn't care less what you want to call certain areas. Right now, we got the playoffs going on in Major League Baseball. We got hockey starting up. We got basketball starting soon. Football season's in full effect. How many people do you see armed at those venues? And how many people do you hear complaining about it? Let's be honest. When you're at a sporting event, there are police everywhere with weapons, right? Some people like our, celebrities hire private security. Michael Moore looking right at you. So, and all these guns are all around us, and no one ever complains. No one says boo about armed police at a baseball game or a sporting event. So why are we saying so much about having guns on a college campus with intelligent adults, reasonable people all around? Shouldn't that be a place where guns would be welcomed in the hands of intelligent, learned people? I read an article in the Brooklyn Eagle this week. Not a paper that everybody hears about. It's one of these smaller neighborhood papers. And in there was an editorial by a professed pro-gun control person. And they were making the case for having guns at every level of schools, including elementary schools. And here's the reasoning behind it. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm agreeing. There are guns at sporting events. There are guns in banks. There are guns when what's it called? At the transit stations when you're getting your Easy Pass. There are guns all around us, and they're there to protect us. If our children are our most precious commodity, why shouldn't there be guns there too? Learned people, good guys with guns, to steal a phrase from Wayne LaPierre in the NRA. Why would we be so up in arms if guns are pervasive all around us? Why not there too? If the same people who are responsible enough to carry them, and let's face it, folks, when we're talking about gun control, we're talking about controlling law-abiding citizens from getting guns. No criminal looked up a criminal penal code to see, when can I carry this gun, and how many bullets should I take on this raid? No, it doesn't happen. Criminals could care less about that. Criminals only care about one thing: committing wrongful acts for their own benefit. Or, if they're loonies, like we see with many, many of these tragic incidents, there is no reason. You can't legislate crazy, people. It just can't be done. There's always going to be law breaking. I wish we can get to that perfect society where there is no law breaking. But at the same time, let's protect those that are precious to us. Let's protect ourselves. Got a comment in the chat room. By the way, during the show, folks, we get some live chatters in every now and then, especially when we promote big shows. Got a comment in the chat room right now saying, talking about concealed carry on campus, and security companies would not be in favor of that because it's hard to identify perps when responding to on campus. Well, you know what? That's the same problem that society has in general where there are concealed carry laws. And by the way, I don't know if you were listening to the whole rant I had going on here, but I wasn't talking about concealed carry. I mean, open carry, sure. Concealed carry is probably another issue. And who am I to say what is better? I'm not really educated on concealed carry as much as I am on other issues. But here's what I do know about gun control. Law-abiding people follow the law. As hard as it is sometimes, whether it's paying your taxes or the licenses and fees that we have in regulating business, or whatever the case may be, going to grocery stores, paying sales tax, people follow the law if they're good, reasonable, honest, hardworking people. You make more laws, those are the people who are going to be burdened with following it more. Not the guy with the gun stashed in the bushes looking to knock off a liquor store. He's not going to care if there are 2 years of training, 1 year of training, concealed carry, open carry. He doesn't care. He cares about committing his crime. That's what he cares about. The finer points of who's packing and who's not and how they're packing and all this stuff, I'm sorry. All you're doing is taking hardworking people and putting them through the ringer. And that's not what this is supposed to be about. Other people like to license gun control to driver's licenses. And of course the argument comes up that driving is a privilege and possessing a weapon or your gun rights or the right to bear arms, Second Amendment, is a right that doesn't come from government. It comes from a higher power. Yes, but I do believe, and I think America will back me up on this, there should be some sorts of control on gun ownership. I don't think anybody's against that. I think it's safe to say nobody's against keeping guns out of the hands of minors. I think it's safe to say that America is against letting those who are mentally disturbed possess and keep weapons. I dare even say that America would be okay with requiring those who have small children to be able to store their guns in a proper gun locker. Either in their home or off-site. I think reasonable people can disagree on that. But all the stuff I just talked about, you can have the best screening in the world, you can offer the best gun lockers in the world, and you can have the most law-abiding gun businesses out there that would only sell to reputable people through proper background checks. And you know what's going to happen? People find a way to break the law. That's what it comes down to, folks. You can't change society by changing a law. Here's a perfect example. I was talking about the MetroCards, the Easy Passes, when I was trying to struggle to figure out what to say there, right? MTA put a $1 surcharge on MetroCards because they thought it would bring in more revenue from people that would not save their MetroCard and keep buying new cards, and they thought they'd get millions of dollars out of it annually. Well, guess what happened? New Yorkers started holding on to their MetroCards, and the amount of income that they thought they would derive from that change in regulation became a lot less. Because you can't legislate behavior. People are going to do what they do. Either it's good in their heart or it's bad in their heart. People are not going to act the way that you predict them to act. Going back into the chat room now, one comment in the chat wants to know how long would it take for police to show up at any of these shootings, and it's probably not soon enough. And another person countered that it's not the response time that's the issue. It's if a shooting is going to happen upon arrival, they need to ascertain the perps versus the friendlies quickly. Okay, but this doesn't sound like a problem that's any different than responding to anywhere else in America when it comes to a shooting. Police, law enforcement, at every level, private, public, whatever you want to talk about, going to have issues when it comes to identifying who's who in an active crime scene. Their training and their expertise is what they use to discern that. Taking the guns out of law-abiding citizens' hands is no way to help out a situation.